this is kind of the finished triangle conditional roof bunker. The triangular one. All it requires is one high and one low foundation. A low square and a high triangular foundation. And then a twig triangle to build off of. And we're going to place another twig here, and then I'll show you inside. We'll take a look at the TC. Let's take a look at the TC. Okay, so we've got 120 stone upkeep for this. It still is very soft-sidable on the top, and it is a target, so it's kind of up to you. You know, one option would be to just metal or high qual this. It's 13 high qual to high qual this, right? So it's not like that, it's that much, and it's only 2 high qual upkeep. Hey guys, it's Geezer back with another build video. Today I want to make a little conditional roof bunker. Just some little pods that could be used as storage, or maybe external TCs, anything like that, that are really just a couple of foundations and can be placed in all sorts of terrain and all sorts of environments. Sometimes the conditional roof bunkers can be pretty tricky because of the conditional roof model needing certain parameters to work correctly, involving stability and things like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to need a low foundation, and we're also going to need a high foundation. So not a medium one, but a high one. And it could be anywhere. Beyond that, we only need one high foundation and one low foundation. You know, we don't need 2 high foundations or anything like that. So I just put a foundation really anywhere, and then put a medium foundation, or like a raised foundation anywhere, which should be easy. And then, you know, you'll probably have to put a couple of these around until you can find a place to put a high foundation. If you do it on uneven terrain, sometimes it's even better. Okay, there we got one. Okay, so now after we have the high foundation like that, then we need to have like a low foundation. Just, you're gonna have to hatch it out, at least a couple of foundations usually. Put that down, and that's it. So now you've got this good to go. So you can put down your TC like as soon as you're like confident in the placement. Obviously we want to have a roof bunker here, so I would usually hatch it out like a couple more of these first, at least like that, so that you know that the wall will go in place. You can place the TC against that, just like this, right? You will need one more foundation for this, so usually I make sure that I can place it. So like, we got to destroy a couple of these. That shouldn't be a problem. And we also will need this. It doesn't have to stay here. We're not going to build anything off of it, but this is where the roof piece, the second roof piece, is going to go to open the bunker. So we have to at least be able to place that when we're going to open the bunker, but it's not a permanent piece of the build or anything. It's just a part of the open mechanic. So the roof piece goes here. And it's okay if like it's partly in the terrain or something like that. It's not really, it doesn't really matter. All you're going to put in here is like a TC and maybe a box and a trap, something like that. So just to show you guys, kind of, it could be whatever setup you want, whatever will fit. But it's nice to have at least like one piece of storage in here. And make sure you lock all your boxes, of course. And then this can go here, you know, however you want. So you've got a big square here that can be soft-sided. That's kind of the weakness, so you could always just put a little stone on top of it if you want to. But I'm going to show you the cost actually of these first. You could upgrade all of this to high qual, metal, you know, whatever you want. So what I usually do is I will put like a trap in here. So we could always try to put a shotgun trap in here. I like to put a flame turret in here because it takes it out very, very easily. But our space is quite limited right now, so I don't know if we're going to be able to put the wall here in front of it. Yay! Look, that's pretty funny. I wonder if that will get people just walking by. That's pretty funny. Obviously we don't want it to be baited and emptied, so that placement might not be optimal, but you know, the problem is it has to be able to hit the twig. So I like the flame turret just almost instantly takes out the twig. I'll show you guys. We'll test out this little nozzle sticking out here. I'm pretty curious. Probably not optimal, but it's funny. Okay, so now that's it. It's open. And we're just gonna deauthorize. There you go. So there's still some flame here, I guess, maybe. Let's see if it's gonna... Apparently it's not... That's good. I wonder if it can be damaged. I've never had it sticking out like this before, so that's why I'm testing it with you like this right now. I don't think so. Let's open the bunker. Okay. And also, you could just go destroy the other twig blocks at this point too, once you have your TC down. I don't destroy extra twig that I don't have to. You just don't want it to say there's a building too close because you've got one touching the structure that you're making that's like not attached. That's really the only kind of requirement here. There are many different configurations of this, but 135 and 5 when it's open. Just some like half walls on top of here. So with a little anti-soft side pancake on it, you're looking at 270. So it like about doubles the cost of the bunker, but it's still like super cheap. I mean, you put a couple of nodes in here and it'll last you an entire weekly, right? Even with a pancake layer on top of there. It could be used as maybe a farm satellite. I've got a feeling people would use these within a compound perhaps. You have to have enough space to get this raised foundation, but in my experience, getting one raised foundation somewhere, making a structure where you need a depression or something is usually more difficult, but just getting one, I don't think it's really that tough. So that's the first one that I wanted to show you guys. So now we're going to try just a slightly different variation. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to build this out, but it just occurs to me it's kind of like something that I want to do. Oh, so there's the boundary right there. So I just want to do the same kind of idea. And again, you could do this on really flat ground. I've seen kind of tutorials where people had things with raised foundations, and they talked about needing like perfectly flat ground or a big hole, like some kind of roughly uniform depression. And I don't really feel like you need anything like that. It's not like dependent upon the terrain. You just have to be able to get a high foundation somewhere. So like what I want to do for this one is the same idea, but I want to try to build a slightly different footprint for you guys. So we'll have to see how this turns out. Okay, so look at that. I mean, ideally you can get it within a couple, depending on where you are. So I'll generally like just move in one direction and then put a couple of medium foundations down and then try to build a high one off it. Like that. And let's try to build back with a low one. Like that. Okay. So that's what I usually do. I'll usually put a medium one in between the high and the low one. If there's not one there already, there often will be, depending on how I built out. And then I'll just hatchet that out and then place the low thing in its place. And it won't always work, but like commonly that's a pretty easy way to do it. So you guys can always tell me in the comments kind of how you prefer to do something like that, but this is what I do. So now we've got pretty cool, more compact structure that hopefully will be a little more affordable as well. So put our triangle off of there, and we're going to want a wall up maybe? No. A little bit of lag there. Okay, so here is our alternate structure. I'm just going to go to no clip mode so I can show you guys this. Maybe because it's a slightly more compact structure as well, the triangles, they might be a little easier to place terrain-wise. You could find kind of tighter spaces, so all 3 of the legs will be into the same level of terrain, so you're less likely to get an error versus 4 legs over a slightly wider space. There's probably some factor like that involved. I'm not sure. So let's try to put some deployables, boxes and stuff in here. Again, I think you could do kind of whatever you want in here, and it's a very small space, so you're not going to be doing much, but just some kind of storage in here. And a trap was what I always put in here. You just want something that will destroy the twig when someone who doesn't have authorization on the TC is within, like, in front of it. Even if it's not a perfect solution, because you're still exposed. That's the thing to remember. You know, there's always a risk that you're going to get shot if these are not, like, within a compound. So where you use them and how you use them, you're not going to be sticking up a bunch of these, like, right outside of, you know, Outpost or Bandit or something like that. Unless it's, like, for fun. Like, maybe it would be an interesting scenario. You know, maybe it'd make a good video. I don't know. So there's kind of how I usually have it set up. It's pretty easy to set this up so you can fit an additional small box somewhere, depending on how the terrain works out, stuff like that. But because these are real world situations, although I am on a build server, we're using real terrain, it's hard to know exactly how the terrain's going to be over the tile, the foundation piece. So you may not know exactly how things are going to fit in, or the orientation. It might be a little different each time. Okay, so again, just to give you guys, this is kind of the finished triangle conditional roof bunker. The triangular one. All it requires is 1 high and 1 low foundation, a low square and a high triangular foundation, and then a twig triangle to build off of. And we're going to place another twig here, and then I'll show you inside. We'll take a look at the TC. Gotta fiddle with it. Let's take a look at the TC. Okay, so we've got 120 stone upkeep for this as constructed. So that's what you're looking at. And as this is smaller, it doesn't stick out as much. It still is very soft-sidable on the top, and it is a target, so it's kind of up to you. You know, one option would be to just metal or high qual this. It's 13 high qual to high qual this, right? So it's not like that it's that much, and it's only 2 high qual upkeep. So listen, 2 high qual and 105 stone. I think that's pretty good. I think that's a pretty good balance. You could put a stone layer on top of this, but I kind of think that 2 high qual upkeep, maybe that's not a bad option. What do you guys think? You could make metal, you could metal this, but still I think that the eco raiders would kind of be interested in it. But like, let them, listen, if someone wants to eco raid through a high qual triangle to get into something like this, like, they're really committed eco raiders, and that's the game, right? At some point, if they're going to put in enough effort, like if they're going to get a whole bunch of Like if you put up garage doors and they're going to take salvage hammers and hammer through it, through your garage doors, eco rating in, something like that, in your tiny base, like in your 1x1 or 2x1, I guess good for them. You know, it's also how long are you going to be offline for too. So this is a base that you wouldn't be in. You're not going to put a bag in here, although you may be able to fit a bag in here. So like you wouldn't be using like your Rust Plus app when they got in and broke in and killed you. Let's deauth, just for you guys, because that's fun, right? Here we go. It's kind of my favorite part. There's something cathartic about destroying the twig and sealing the bunker. Get a little dopamine rush. That's all I got for you guys. So this would be an example of my preferred configuration. You could do everything in metal, everything in high qual, depending on the value of the things inside of it. You can put many of these around. They're easy to set up. You can put the TC down really as soon as you get this low foundation down in place, and then destroy all the twig around, and man, that's it. So what do you think you would use these for? Feel free to tell me in the comments. This is just one example of kind of how I would make this. Basically, the conditional roof bunker like you're not going to make it with two walls on the side. So this isn't passing the stability on the roof pieces that we're placing or that we have in play, so that it's, for the purposes of the conditional dynamic, the conditional mechanism, it's as if there's nothing there. So that's why that works. But if we put a couple of walls there, it's like it's not going to work with the same mechanic. Anyways, that's all I've got for you guys. Thanks for watching. Let me just take my... so I can get a screenshot of this. I know it always looks better with no hammer in my hand. So I've got this one, and up the hill somewhere we have the square one. Triangular or square? I like this one. What did I say, 105 and 2? Something like that, right? 105 and 2. The twig doesn't matter. It's not something that needs to remain in place, so I'm not going to count it for the upkeep. You can destroy it if you want. Just don't put any wood in your TC, because you never need upkeep for wood. You only use upkeep when you're actively there opening and closing it. It doesn't need to be maintained. That's it, guys. 13 to make this, 2 upkeep. If you're on a weekly and you get these up, 5 days, it's only 10. 7 days, it's going to be 14 high qual for a whole weekly server of upkeep. And so like 2/3 of a node, 3/4 of a node, and 14 high qual is enough upkeep on a weekly to let this run the whole wipe without decaying. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Please consider subscribing, leave comments, thumbs up, thumbs down. If you see any major weaknesses or thoughts about this. Obviously, I'm aware that you could pancake this on top, because eco raiders will like high foundations. So I guess I could, like, look at this, guys. I'm putting a pancake layer on it. Look at that. We pancaked it. Alright, that's all I got. Thanks for watching.